Hello. Today I'm going to show you one of my basic designs for something that can be your starter survival house. It's just a simple cottage made with only oak and birch wood. So as you can see in my inventory, I only have 4 types of blocks. So let's see if I can make a house with just these blocks. It still somehow looks good. What I'm making here is just the doorway, starting with a couple logs, and then I'll space 3 blocks out for these pillars. Another 3 this way. Actually, for this one, we can bring this down to 1 pillar in the middle. Alright, so we got that. The idea is that there will be 3 by 3 squares in these little sections here. Next, let's put in the walls. So I figured out that the way to make these things look best, the stripped wood, is to have the top and bottom be horizontal, and then the middle you have it vertical. This stripped wood can be very nice if you use it in certain ways, but if you misuse it, it can also be pretty ugly. Here I'll make these extra wide. Oops. Alright, and since it's so simple to do, I'll just put in the windows now. Okay, here we are with the base. Usually I don't build the whole base before making the roof, but it's simple enough. Now I'm going to bring these 1 block up. Now normally, with this block that goes on top of the main pillar, it gets obstructed by other blocks, so I don't normally like to use something like a log to do it, because that's more valuable material in survival. Usually I use a wood plank or a piece of cobblestone. But in this case, some of these might be visible from the inside, so I'm going to go ahead and use a log. Okay, now what I'm going to do is add logs facing out like this. They sort of look like beams that are sticking out. What you want to do is take these oak stairs, put them facing upside down like that. All around, except in the corner, use a slab. Alright. And from here, you just need to build the roof like normal. As you can see, it's going to be quite a large roof for this small house, but I've made this design before and it seems to work out just fine. So you might be thinking this looks rather plain, and that I should probably use a different wood type here, but I actually kind of like how it blends together. So hopefully you'll see that in the end. Okay, and from here, we can't go and do this normal thing, put the stair like that, because there will be this weird gap. So what you actually have to do is put a whole block there. And then you can start working your way up. Until you reach the middle. Okay, there we go. And as for this top part, we have many options. I think what I'm going to do is put a log right here. So I'll put a slab at the bottom. Do this sort of thing. Log, and then a slab on the top. Okay, and as for down here, so we have the stair, and then the full block, and then I'll put another stair facing inwards, and connect the two with slabs. Alright, and there we have our basic frame. Now for the middle, what we want to do is raise this central pillar up, so it's like that. And then as for the filling in here, you can put really whatever you want. You can put a different color of planks. I wouldn't go with oak, but something else. Let's try out these stripped birch logs and just see how it turns out. Alright, not bad. And if this is survival, you want it to be illuminated, so I'll just put a torch in the center. And down here, what works well is this relatively new block, if I can find it. I like to put lanterns around the corner. Okay, kind of like that. And once you're at this stage, all you have to do is finish the roofing and put in a floor. It's actually tall enough that you can fit in a second stage here. And for this part, you can do whatever you want. I'll go ahead and fill this in with stripped birch just to see what it looks like. In case you haven't played in a while, this stripped birch is just made by putting down a regular birch log and then right-clicking it with an axe. So if you're doing this in survival, it's probably not worth it to strip all the wood and then collect it and then place it. What you can do is just place down the raw birch logs, which will look totally weird and ugly at first, and then you go around with an axe and right-click and you strip it all. Now the stripping happens at the same speed no matter what axe you use, so I would recommend against using a nice diamond axe for this, and instead using a couple crummy iron axes, because it'll work just as well. Alright, so I'm going to finish roofing this house. I'm going to add in a second layer on the inside, light it up, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back and the house is complete. Let's do a fly around and you see what it looks like overall. So as you can see, it's very basic, very plain Jane, but overall inoffensive. And I think sometimes that's just the best you can hope for, because too many times people come on a server and they're a beginner player and they don't know what to do, so they don't put much effort into the style of their builds, but a little effort can go a long way. Let's take a look at the inside. Alright, here we are. Do you notice anything missing besides the obvious lack of furnishings? Let's set time to night. Okay. I guess I wasn't good enough. Alright, so it's now pitch black outside, and as you can see, it's still lit up in here. That's thanks to this carpet I have, which is covering a grid of jack-o'-lanterns. Okay. That are evenly distributed under the floor. I really like using jack-o'-lanterns as lighting because they're cheap. All you need is a torch and a pumpkin to make them. Sorry about the noise. And as long as you can hide them, they're a good light source. They're more powerful than torches at not a lot of extra cost. Okay, so as you can see, I've left myself 3 entire blocks of headspace, plus another half. This is really important because if you only give yourself 2 blocks of space, you'll be super cramped. And I even tried it with 2.5 blocks of space, and I still felt cramped. But here, where you can jump up and down and stuff, you really feel like you can breathe. Another thing you'll notice is that I use slabs for the second floor. You always want to use slabs whenever possible because it's twice as cost efficient as full blocks, and in this case it gives you a little more room. On the places where the ceiling intersects the pillars, though, I used stairs, and this just makes it so that the ceiling looks sort of connected to the rest of the house. It's not just sitting there, but something sort of holding it up, even if it's just imaginary. Alright, let's go upstairs. Now easily you can use torches, and they might be even more practical here because they won't get in your way. Like if you're trying to jump for the door, you won't get hit in the head. But some things I did here was I used these lanterns, and to make the most of them I extended them down from the ceiling with a fence post. And as you can see, they're distributed evenly throughout the room. Now, these blocks here are actually optional. When you first make the house, this space will be empty. And it's actually a good place to put chests because chests can open up when they're underneath these stair blocks here. Let's take a fly around once more from that side. As you can see, it's well lit up, and that makes a big difference on your builds because a well-lit building at night can be stunning, but if it's dark, it just fades into nothingness and no one can really appreciate it. So that's all I have for this episode. Thanks for watching.